Hi, and welcome back. I'm Mark with the Technical Assistance Team at Friedrich Air Conditioning, and we're here to complete the installation of our 8,000 BTU Chill Premier Inverter room air conditioner. And at this point, we've already uncrated our machine, and at the same time, we've taken an inventory of the materials that came with the machine, which consisted of a couple of pieces of foam. We had about 7 screws and a little corner bracket. And we've already verified that all of our materials are here, so we're ready for the rest of the installation process. Before we go any further, I want to show you some of the newest features on the Inverter Chill. Starting with our side panels, we're used to the accordion style side panels, and now we have a new double layered plastic side panel that telescopes out. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring your side curtain rail all the way out. Go ahead and telescope that side panel out, and you're going to line it up with 2 little latches and then squeeze it closed. Right there, she's in place. As you can see, it telescopes in and out. Go ahead and push it all the way into its most closed position. We're going to want to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to pull it out a little bit further. We line up our tabs. We lock it into position. Now it's ready for installation. Now, one thing that I wanted to show you guys on this before we go any further is that these side curtains are optional. So if you're not going to need the side curtain, it can be completely removed by removing the frame. Go ahead and unclip your curtain. Take your frame completely off. And there's a long pin right here. If you'll see, I'm sliding this long pin right out, and your entire curtain comes right off. And that just leaves you with the bare side of the machine. So if your curtains aren't needed, depending on the measurement of your window, you can go ahead and remove the side curtain if it's needed. In this installation, we are going to use the side curtains. So installation of the side curtains is just the reverse of pulling it out. Once you've got it back in place, go ahead and bring your top rail in place again. Slide out and line yourself up. We're snapped in place. Okay, now we're ready for installation in the window. Now, first and foremost, what we want to do is there's a list of tools that are needed for this installation. And that list of tools consists of, number 1, a tape measure, which is going to be very necessary in this installation. A set of screwdrivers. In this case, we have a common and a Phillips screwdriver. And we have a level along with a pair of scissors. Okay, again, not a whole lot of tools. Most of these are pretty much your regular household tools, should be pretty regularly found in most households. Now, one thing that we're going to do a little different on here, and you guys have the option at home also, is that you have the option to use a drill driver. And as you can see, for speed of installation, we're going to go ahead and use this today. If you're more comfortable with driving those screws by hand, by all means, go ahead and feel free to do so. Okay, now it looks like we're ready for the installation. First and foremost, we want to measure, we want to make sure that this machine fits in the window itself. Okay, so at this furthest installation that we have right here, we're right at 28 inches. All right, now if we come over here and we measure our window, I'm going to go ahead and open up the window real quick. We're going to take a measurement across our window, and we actually have about 28.5 inches on that window. So that's going to give us about 1/4 inch per each side leverage on each side of that window. While I got the window open, I want to go ahead and install my first strip of adhesive foam backing here. And it's pretty installation. As you can see, it's got an adhesive backing to it. Basically what we're going to do, we want to make sure that the bottom of your window here is nice and clean. Measure the length that you're going to need. Go ahead and pull it off. You've got your scissors. We're going to go ahead and cut this with the scissors here. Alrighty. Now once we've got that cut, we can go ahead and adhere this to the bottom of that sash. I'm going to open one end of it here. There we go. We're going to let it sit right into the middle of it. Right into the middle of it. right into the middle of it. Actually got just a little bit too much on that, so we've got a little bit that we've got to snip off. Okay. Now our sash shield's in place. We're ready to go ahead and put our unit into the window. Now here at Friedrich, we like to do safety first all the time. So when you're at this part of your installation, definitely get somebody to help you because again, the machines are a little bit heavier than what they look, and we don't want anybody getting hurt. Once you've got it set into the window, extend your side curtains. And let's go ahead and bring our sash down. Now, we're right in place. We want to go ahead and center. Make sure that we're right in the center of the window. It's going to look best. Slide your curtain out as far as you can. Now, we're in the window. Let's go ahead, before we go any further, and let's go ahead and get some screws and some, put in the 4 main support screws that go to this. The unit provides 4 3/4 inch Phillip head screws. And we're going to use those Phillip head screws in 4 locations in each corner of the unit. We've got 2 on top right here. We've got 2 on the bottom. And they're right on the curtain assembly of the unit, okay? So that's what we're basically doing, is screwing the curtain assembly to the window frame of the unit. We've got one side. As you can see, it goes a little quicker with the drill. But again, use what you're most comfortable with. We've got one left. Okay, now we've got our 4 screws. That's our main support for this unit. Okay, now we know that we need to be right in the center of our window. Now that we've got our window all the way down, our sash is all the way down to the top of the unit. At this point, you want to take a look at your machine. Take yourself a small level, like what we've got right here, and you want to place this level on the outside portion of your machine. We want to make sure that the window, the machine has a little bit of tilt to the back of the unit so we can drain condensate water out the back. Okay, so it's very important that we maintain a slight tilt to the back part of the unit, usually about 3 degrees or about 1/3 of the bubble inside your level. Okay, very important that we have a tilt to the back on this unit. Once we have that in place, we're going to go ahead and put 1 screw right in the center of the top rail of our unit to the sash. And that screw that you're going to use is a small 3/4 inch screw that comes with the unit. I'm sorry, that's going to be a 1/2 inch screw is what that's going to be. And there's 3 of them that come with the unit. You're going to use 1 screw to screw into the top sash of the window. The next screw, if you'll look right underneath, you'll see another hole. That second screw is holding these 2 arms in their position. Okay, so we've got a few safeties here already going on. We've got a screw in the center that's not going to allow the arms to come in, and then we've got a screw here that's not going to allow the sash to go up. Our last safety that we're going to put in place is this little piece of angle. It's a little piece of a sheet metal angle, and what this piece of sheet metal angle does, I'll show you a little closer look of it. It's just a little small piece of sheet metal angle. And what this is going to do is we're going to put this at the top of the window, and it's not going to allow the sash to come up at all, making sure that the unit has no potential to fall out the back. Okay, we've got our angle in place. Sash is locked in place. There's no way that this sash is going to come back up at this point. Okay, now once we've got this completely installed, we haven't powered up the unit yet. Now's the time that we take the remote control that was inside the pack that we got with our new unit, and we're going to go ahead and insert a set of batteries that are included with this unit. Now, once we've got our remote in place, batteries are in place, looks like it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and plug in our machine. It's going to do a little bit of beeping. It's going to check itself out. Now, before we go any further, we have this piece of foam left. Now, this is a larger piece of foam. It does not have adhesive backing to it at all. Different windows are designed in different fashion. So some windows right here at the very top will leave a gap in the opening of the two windows right here. In this case, we have a double hung window, and it's not the situation here. But in some of the older style windows, once this window comes up, we end up with a gap right here at the top. Well, this foam is made for that gap. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the foam and you're going to take and place it inside the gap of the two windows, cut the size that you need, and just push it in between the two panes. There's no adhesive necessary. That's going to leave you with a smaller portion left over. This smaller portion is made for the bottom of your machine. And again, all windows are made different. Some windows might have a small gap on the bottom. In this case of this window, there's no gap. But if there is a gap on the window that you have, that's where this leftover piece of foam is going to go. It's made to sit right in between the base of the window and the unit. And it's basically going to fill in your gap in case you've got some daylight or anything like that in there. Now, on your side curtain, if you can see some air gaps or you see some daylight gaps, you might want to go to your local hardware store and pick up a siliconized caulk and go ahead and fill these cracks and crevices up. This way there's no potential for any little critters or anything coming into your window. Now, we've got everything plugged in. It looks like we're ready to turn everything on. We're going to take our remote, and if you'll take a look, it's a very simple remote. Basically has the same controls that are on the face panel of this machine. And we'll go over all of those controls. That's for a completely other video. But for right now, we're just going to go ahead and turn the machine on. We're going to press our power button, and you'll hear a responsive beep. If you don't hear a responsive beep, then you're going to probably realize that something's wrong at that point. As you can see, our louver's opened up here in the front. I can start to hear some air coming out of it. It looks like our unit right now is set on cooling, and we have it about 79 degrees. I'm going to put the minus button on the remote. As I do, you can see the temperature decreasing on the unit. We've got it down to about 70 degrees right now. Sounds like everything's starting to run. Let's go ahead and let it cool. Thanks, folks. I really appreciate your time today, and we appreciate you buying Friedrich products.